Good morning, America. How are you? My name is Josh. We are live. 12 days until launch. It's coming up quick. Almost Christmas time. Hope everyone has got all their Christmas everythings ready to go. I'm excited for Christmas this year. We had some snow. It's melted here now, but I am excited for it. I want to talk in a little bit when people start coming in. We inked a huge deal today. We inked a massive $5 million worth of product deal. And I want to talk about that a little bit when people start coming in. But that is a big step forward for us. It's a huge step forward. Now, I hope I'm live because I don't see anyone coming in the chat. And I don't know. Usually by now we see people coming in, but I'm not seeing it yet. Oh, there we go. There we go. Here we go. We're starting now. Jen, good to see you. Welcome, welcome. What's everybody doing? Are we working today? I hope we're not working today. This is the time of year where we spend some time to enjoy our family. We have the tools now that we aren't pushed where we have to work every single day and Christmas Eve and all these. I don't know. If you're anything like me, you missed all these major important things because you were grinding and working all the time. And this year I am taking the time to enjoy it. So I will probably be broadcasting tomorrow live. Just an easygoing one. I might have some glühwein or something here, spiced virgin wine. And we'll just talk and we'll kind of goof around lightly. And then if anyone has any questions, I can troubleshoot them. But other than that, I think we're just going to sail into this really easy. But today was it's like a champagne day here for us because we inked our first multi-million-dollar deal. We signed a $5 million deal for product for inventory today. It was massive for us. Massive, massive, massive. I saw that Harry Tornado was talking about or asking questions about List Easier. Josh, give me a call. If you're interested, let me know. Give me a call. I would love to talk to you about it. You're welcome to. But if you have any questions or anything, come on, reach out. We're doing our thing over here. We want you aboard as well. I think you're going to love the software. And yeah, it was nice to see our old friend Josh talking about List Easier, even if it was only briefly. Okay. Want to talk about this deal? Do you guys want to know what's going on? Merry Christmas to everyone. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. We got some people working on List Easier. People working away, picking away. Don's got his blackout hat. That's awesome. Awesome. So those should all be arriving today or tomorrow, depending on where you live. I think we had some going up to Alaska and Hawaii. I don't know when those will come. But the blackout hats should be arriving very shortly. It has been busy for us. We are working hard on Flex. That's our big rollout, which comes with more accuracy and a bunch of different things. I believe James is on that now. I believe James is using that now. So I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I think he's beta testing that now. So it'll be exciting to see, what he thinks of that and get some feedback from him. Now, the deal for us is between 250,000 and 300,000 pieces of inventory. It works out to around 2 tractor trailers full, 53-foot trailers full of inventory top to bottom. So this is going to be on a drip inventory system. So we're going to be paying for this inventory around $40,000, but most likely going to happen in $5,000 installments. And this is, based on what they've said to us, average product sale will be around $20 per piece. And there is between 250,000 to 300,000 pieces of inventory. This is going to get us around 5 million in listed products. So that's really going to get us through the next 8 months. So we're going to launch. We were kind of worried about inventory because we only have 25,000 pieces ahead of us. Now we're more like 325,000. This gives us a lot of buffer room, and this is going to be great for our launch. So now we know that our launch is secure. We have enough product that we can really put this stuff up and really get going. And the reason why I'm saying this or, mentioning it, and I'm not going to tell you exactly what the items are or where we got it because we are on a drip inventory program where we pay $5,000, we get $5,000 worth of inventory. So we're taking like a quarter truck at a time. So I don't want anyone to scud the deal on me or scuttle the deal. But the reason why I'm saying this is anyone can do this at a smaller scale. So you don't need 300,000 pieces of inventory. You can get like 3,000 or 300 or whatever, or 30. It all works the same. It doesn't matter the scale. So this is exciting for us. You have to remember we have an employee, right? So we want to keep everything moving, the wheels greased. And it was just yesterday we were talking to each other saying, this, are we going to be able to keep up because the production value is so high? So we have to make sure on the back end, that's on us. We got to keep up with this stuff coming in. And, one of the things we said was inventory will never be a problem. Inventory grows on trees. It really does. You just have to sniff it out and find where it is. But that deal we hadn't come across yet. It was always a smaller deals. And now we've got this big one. It's a lock. So that's exciting. And it's going to really take us to the next level. So now we don't have to worry about these numbers. These numbers are going to move in the direction that we need them to move because we have secured the bag on the inventory that will get this thing rolling. Give us some breathing room, 6 to 8 months, where we can pick and choose our deals so that we don't become overrun and that we're purchasing inventory that's going to move. Of course, a lot of it's going to be long tail, but we're purchasing inventory that's going to move and we're not over levered to the point that it's going to impact our cash flow. So I think this is a really good working deal. I'm excited for it. Jen says hello. Good to see you, Jen. Kenneth Oros says good morning. Good morning to you. Classic Phase, hello. It's great to catch a live. Welcome, welcome. Kenneth Oros is listing. Many people still listing. It's a work day for many of you, but please do take a little bit of time. I mean, if you're using List Easier, you have more time now. Take the time to do the things like watch a Christmas movie. Go out tonight, drive around, see the lights, or go for a walk, see all the Christmas lights. Like, enjoy it, because I know many of you have not had the ability to do that for years and years. And now that you have the time, take it. I think it's important to build those memories. Make cookies, do all the things. Do the things, enjoy yourself, relax if you can. Talk to people you haven't talked to in a long time. We are all reminded that there are people with us this year that are people that aren't with us this year, that we wish were with us at Christmas. So you never know when that next Christmas, you never know the people around you, some of them might not be there, right? Life can be fragile. So a little bit of a PSA. You have the tools that you can be super productive. You're going to have a full year ahead of you where you can just put nose to the grindstone. But if you have the ability, please take the time to enjoy some family time this Christmas. Make some memories and take that break so that you can hit hard when you come back. Don Flippin got the tactical blackout hat. List Easier. That's awesome. Awesome. Jen says working just a bit in the morning. Yeah, keeping up with the shipping. For me, that's one that I can't really let off of, is keeping up with shipping. If I don't keep up with the shipping, it backs up pretty quick. So making sure that we're getting the stuff shipped out is a big one, and staying on top of it. Sometimes got to ship once or twice a day or twice a day. So we're going to make sure that we keep on top of the shipping. Jen says, working a bit in the morning. Lead Belt Emporium says, hey, Josh, working away. 39 listings up so far this morning. That's awesome. That is awesome. Awesome. Missy B says, Merry Christmas and good morning. Good morning and Merry Christmas to you, Missy. Keep going, Lead Belt. It's this 2026 is your year. It's your year. 2025 was the turning point, or maybe it was an inflection point. If you're already moving up, it was an inflection point, like the Mario Kart chevrons, and it's the boost coming now. Classic Phase is working on List Easier and listening right now. Awesome, and congrats. Thank you, Classic Phase. I appreciate you. Eric Bressy says, hey there, everyone. In my elf voice, it's almost Christmas. Welcome, Eric. Good to see you. Eric's got his List Easier Tactical Blackout on. So if you can look at that little picture, that little circle in the live chat, I believe that's the Tactical Blackout hat. The Godfather. I'm off until the 5th of January. It's taking some time off, and I think that's important, Godfather. And I agree with you that, it's important to do those things and make those memories. And I've missed a lot of it over the years because I've been working, I've been prioritizing work. There's no excuse now. I don't have to do that now, so I'm not going to. Don Flippin says, any idea on the date of Flex? James is using it right now. So we were going to give it to James yesterday. We found a very small bug, which was easily or quickly fixed. It's now out to James. So we're going to have James kind of try and figure out, because we all we use the software. The two technical founders have a deep technical knowledge, but we want to run it through James so that James can say, look, from my vantage point or point of view, what if this, what if that? So if James comes up with a lot and we have to change a lot, then it might be a little bit longer. But if James is like, I can't believe this is blowing my mind, then it will launch earlier. So, and I believe Scott is going to migrate over to Flex as well. So both of them will be on Flex, or if they aren't on Flex already. That's a huge rollout, Don. A lot of people waiting for that one. That's a big, big, big one. Josh Graffs has finally caught a notification wearing my blackout tactical hat from List Easier. That's awesome, Josh. Very nice, very nice. Merry Christmas to you. Hope you and your family are having some great time together over this Christmas break. Den Decor Depot, good day, Josh. Merry Christmas and good day to you, Den Decor. Welcome, welcome. Andy Reno says, how's it going, Mr. Galt? If I don't talk to you before, have a great Christmas, and everybody in the chat. Andy, have a Merry Christmas. Have a safe and happy Christmas. Everyone remember, too, when you're driving at night, there's going to be a lot of people on the road who are out having fun, they're partying, and they're not making the best decisions. Please be mindful that those people are on the road as well. So be very careful. Know that there will be people out there drinking and driving. Please be safe. We want everyone back in the new year so they can blow their businesses up and do all the things that they want to do. But that always concerns me around this time of year is there's a lot of drinking and driving out there. And, if you are going out and you're having a good time, hand those keys over. Make sure you have a ride. Please just be safe and enjoy yourself. And be mindful on the road. I always do this at every four-way intersection. I pull up to a four-way intersection, even if the light's green. At around this time of year, I'm making sure in my peripheral that no one's coming flying through the intersection, because it's just a dangerous time of year for that. Lucky Finds 9264 says, thank you, List Easier team, for my hat. I received it last night. I'm in California. Awesome. There's another tactical blackout List Easier hat that has arrived safely. It's good to see everyone's getting it. J.R. Rodeffer says $5 million cost in CAD. No, it's $5 million worth of listed value. Our cost is significantly lower than that. But it's $5 million in listed value. So when I say $5 million worth of product, I mean $5 million worth of listed value. If it was a $5 million purchase, would the $100 million challenge would be done. We'd be like, okay, now we have $100 million worth of inventory. We're just going to get 30 people to list it all, and then that's it. We did it. But no, it's $5 million worth of listed inventory, and that is in USD. So United States dollar. US dinar. Eric Bressi says, what are the books behind you? Looks like my desk. Yeah, we have some. This is from another buy. This is not for List Easier, but for Super Dave's previous business. So this is Super Dave's backwards. This is Super Dave's business, these books. And this will all be rolling in most likely in the coming months. Cash flow dependent, of course. So this is a major challenge. Coming out here saying we're going to list $100 million worth of product, like $100 million worth of listed product, is a massive challenge. That is a massive, massive, massive challenge. I was thinking about this today, even with this massive buy, that gives us $5 million worth of listed inventory USD. We would still need another $5 million to be on track of 10 per year of listed inventory. So but the thing is that I believe our systems will ramp towards the end. So it will start off a little bit slower as we kind of find our sea legs. we solidify our cash flow, we understand what our position is, and we start building these supply lines of inventory, I think it's going to start a little bit slow, but we can always ramp later on and increase the efficiency of the listing process, but also if we need to hire more people, we can. So it's a very ambitious project, but I'm here for it. Dendaker Depot says just shipping and building a draft bank today, made a mistake and bought 3-inch tape, picking up a 3-inch dispenser from Facebook Marketplace in an hour. Yeah, I use I use 2-inch tape still. I think I still use 2-inch tape, but everyone who uses 3-inch swears by it, and I think I'm looking at even some 4-inch tape here. Bearded Picker Scott says, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Rob's special interest says, hi, Josh. Having 3 days off until the post office reopens. I have no idea how sales will go up to the new year. Don't worry, Rob. We got you in the new year, though. 2026 is going to take off like a rocket ship for you. Just take those pictures, get those folders filled up with good quality pictures, and I would say take an equal number of pictures per item. So if you're listing baseball caps, I'm just making it up, and you usually take 8 pictures per baseball cap, just go crazy with the pictures. And we got you in 2026. Eric Bressi says, how can I sign up for beta testing? So, Eric, the beta testing for us was we brought in the beta testers early on in the program. So it was really at that time people that we kind of already knew and were listing at scale. So for example, James was listing at scale. We knew him. Scott made a commitment to list at scale. So he's like, look, I'll change things around. I'm interested in this. And then we had Primo Chemo who's saying, look, I got backstock of books. So between the three of them and being friends with them all already, it was like, okay, guys, we need trusted input from you. So we'll build this group chat on the side and we're going to put it out. And then you let us know where you find things. So that's how we started the beta testing program. And then also we wanted to create an open dialogue so that people could see this actually happening in real time. We don't want to make all these claims and everyone's like, I don't believe you. At least now you can see I want to say thousands, hundreds or thousands of hours of video of people using the program. A lot of that was beta testing. So beta testing doesn't come with, it comes with a few caveats. You sometimes are using infrastructure that's not very smooth, that doesn't have great user interface, that, sometimes will create bugs. A lot of times there will be work happening in the background and we just won't tell you and you'll lose a batch. So that comes with beta testing as well. I think Scott reached out this morning, was like, hey, this thing isn't working. And we're like, I know, it's because we moved you onto a new part of the site. So, but that's how that originally went. And now that those guys all know the process, they can just push out information. So I think for us, the beta testing was extremely important when we were building the back-end infrastructure, because things would go wrong and things wouldn't work and we had to figure out why and what was going on. So it was great to get that feedback. But now a lot of that is already built and it's just like, at this point, it's like, how do you like this? How do you feel about this? What would make it easier? And then getting the feedback back from that. And then if you find anything, let us know. As Primo accidentally listed stuff with robot heads in it, and we would never have even thought that that was possible. But it's also super cool. Eric, you got to be a VIP, says Bearded Picker. Diane Matthews says, hello all. Hello, Diane, and Merry Christmas to you. Don Flippin says, is Flex going to be a monthly fee or a standard fee, or do you have a price in mind? The pricing structure doesn't change. So you can buy your 100 listings or you can use your monthly credits. It really depends on where you are in your business, like what works best for you. But as far as I understand, pricing does not change. It's just another option for people to use. You can choose batching or you can go to Flex, whatever you want. It'll give you the option when you log in. Jared Rodeffer says, can you buy US-based deals yet with tariffs and border stuff? Yeah, so we purchase in the United States. Tariffs aren't really an issue coming into Canada, so we don't really get tariffed by the Canadian government on US goods coming into Canada because of the free trade agreements or whatever, CUSMA or whatever. So we don't really pay a lot or pay anything. We just have to pay a tax on the purchase. So there's like a 13% tax that we have to pay. We have to pay Canadian taxes on the deal. But we don't really get tariffs. The tariffs are usually the other way if we bulk inventory into the United States, which we're not doing. We're doing it individually by piece, and we are purchasing inventory that is within the CUSMA agreement so that we aren't being charged tariffs, so we don't have to pass that down to our customers. So we're operating in the area where CUSMA is operating so that we don't get charged these really high US tariffs. But we don't really see tariffs on US goods coming into Canada. There's no tariffs, just the tax. And I think that's only over a certain amount, but we are buying over that amount. We do get taxed, which is the duties. I hope that answered that. Eric Bresci says at Beard Picker, I want to be part of the cool club, laugh out loud. Beard Picker says Super Dave is my biggest fan. JR Rodeffer says my Tesla does all the driving. I just sit there. That's awesome. Love that. Flip It Good says hello, Josh. Good to see you, Flip It Good. Merry Christmas and welcome, welcome. Andy Reno says and $70 for 1,000 listings, and it goes up from there to enterprise. Excuse me, yeah. So I think enterprise is $299, the top tier, and that is for 10,000 listings. There are people that operate in there. There are people that operate, I believe, with multiple enterprise accounts. And then there's also, I forget what it's called, if it's the Boost or whatever, but there's one that's 3,000 listings for $189. So it really depends on the size of your store. So if you are operating like we're operating, you're going to want to do the 10,000 listings. But if you are garage sailing or you're just starting out or whatever the case may be, you might just want to do the 100 listings. It's like low risk, right? For $15, it doesn't really matter. But the thing is, you know that you're getting all those listings optimized. They're going to be all over the internet, and you have the best chance of those listings performing. So if you, and I'm making this up because I don't have solid numbers, so nobody come at me on this, but if you list using List Easier and your sales increase by 40%, let's say, then the software is clearly more than paid for itself. You'll make it up in the first 1, 2, 3, 4 sales. So that's the way I think of it, but also, and that's the way we should think of it as business, but also you'll notice there will be people who won't list now. They've been using List Easier for maybe 3 months. They won't list over the Christmas break. They will notice that their sales will continue to be steady because the listings are all optimized. They don't go away. People will be at home searching Google. They'll be after Christmas dinner sitting in front of the fire, bored and on their phone, and they'll be searching Google for stuff, and they'll be buying, and your stuff is going to show up. So that's the whole point of it. I have not listed in a month and a half, and my sales are consistent. It's all List Easier listing selling. So yeah, that's for my own personal store. And that's largely because I've now been acquired by List Easier. We are down on the comments. Everyone is doing their Christmas stuff today. We got the Profit Playbook podcast. I think we're going to record after this. I am excited for that. This will not be the last one of the year. And then in January 3rd and 4th, I will be in Fort Myers, Florida. So it's been a couple of years since I've been there, so that is going to be exciting as well. I'm hoping to see 1,000-pound gator. Like, I would love to see one of those big gators there. That's my big thing. So I'll be in Bonita Springs. I'm excited to be back down there and just have some sun for a couple days, and then coming back for the late evening of the 4th, and then the 5th, bang, it's party time. It's launch time. This will launch on the 5th. And this is where you'll start seeing these numbers start changing and turning, and you're really going to start seeing the effects of all the work that we've been putting in the last 30 days as we've been kind of counting this down, getting ourselves down to 12 days until launch now. We're almost there. I just can't wait. I'm super pumped for it. Beard Picker says, I'm spoiled. I hate listing my main store the old way. No dinosaurs. So are you on Flex right now, Scott? If not, maybe a little bit later today or tomorrow. But I know that James moved, and I think you're moving too. I could be wrong. Someone fact check me, but I could be wrong. Don Flippin says, I have 1,700 listings, so Flex will be able to redo them correct. I have some listings that I have variant items now. How will Flex work with that? So we don't have a recycler yet. So we can't pull your listings down and then relist them for you through Flex. Really, Flex is more for if you go out to a garage sale and you buy a Pokemon or Pokemon plush and you buy a oil funnel from the 1920s and you buy a baseball card of Mickey Mantle and you buy a VHS tape. You take pictures of all those things. You can now run them through. It will pick the category for you. It will optimize a listing for you. It will optimize 4 categories for you, like which category is optimized. Build the listing and you can be on your merry way. So this is really for all those people that have said that I list one-off items. I don't really list in batches. I pick random things here and there. That's what Flex is for, those people. So basically we're saying to those people, you will get your time back too now. You will get optimized listings too. If you don't want to do batches, we will give you the process or we'll make the process available that for your style of business, it's also there. So now those people too, instead of listing all day, they can do it like 30 minutes or 20 minutes and get some of their time back. Bearded Picker's not on Flex yet. Snoopy Collector, welcome, and Merry Christmas to you. Bearded Picker says, I just checked, Josh. My Canadian Christmas present hasn't arrived. It will be soon, I'm sure. Today, maybe? I don't know. It should be there. Art by Axe says, Josh, can you talk more about how List Easier optimizes Google compared to the competition? And how the competition uses optimized descriptions full of keywords. Okay, I'll say this about any of the competition. I won't even name them. This is what I have to say about the competition. I've not used their software. In many cases, I don't even know who the competition is. So broadly speaking, even at our programming level, we were talking about who the competitors were. We had a group conversation going on. And on the technical side, they don't even know who the competitors are. Like they have no clue. So I can't say, well, we do this and they do that because I don't even know what they're up to. Also, I don't ever want to throw shade at anyone else. I don't want to sit here and pontificate and say, we're doing all these great things and they're not, because I actually don't know. And anyone who is working on these problems is doing something exceptional. This is not easy. These are exceptionally difficult problems that require exceptionally sophisticated stacks. So I can't speak to them. What I can say is our focus has always been on optimizing listings, both on-site and off-site. And the reason why that's a focus is because our CTO built the payment systems for Google and Apple. So he knows from constructing those systems what's required to have items rank high in discoverability, searchability, and surfaceability on things like Google and on the LLMs. So that's all I can speak of, is that is his expertise. And that's what our users are seeing. Now, I can't be like, no one else is doing that, because I don't know what they're doing. I don't have a clue. I've never spoken to them. They've never reached out. We don't work with them. And in many cases, we don't even know who they are. So we just do our thing. And I put my congratulations. And I tip my hat to anyone who's working on these problems alongside us. Keep going. Keep going. So I hope that answers Art, but I mean, if you need me to clarify beyond that, I can, but I don't even know what they're doing. I have no clue what they're even up to. Lead Belt Emporium says, my wife has been wanting to use List Easier. As soon as Flex comes out, it's going to happen. That's awesome. Yeah. And it should be super simple processes so that, that's the thing. The user interface and the user experience is very simple. And that's the point, is that we kind of want it to be simple that people can learn it quickly, so that if you need to remove yourself from the process, somebody else can do it for you. So I tested this a lot with my own kids. So showed them how to use the program, and then they were doing everything autonomously. And I would look through the listings afterwards, but they were virtually all correct. James says, I'm working on Flex, but do not be jealous yet. First move, found my first error. Be jealous in a couple days. Yeah. Just report it all, James. Send anything you find, send it to us, and we'll get on it. Andy Reno says, well, once Flex comes out, I don't see any reason no one would use it except for being stubborn. Yeah, I think, got to remember too, Andy, not everyone has the mindset where they see it as an investment. They see it as a threat to their own kind of autonomy. I don't know how else to explain that, but a lot of the pushback we get from people who don't want to use AI, it's not that they're not saying it's not working. They just say that they can do a better job. So it's it's wrapped up in their autonomy. Like, I know I can do better than what a computer can. I think that's what it's more about. And there's no arguing with that at all. And eventually those people will come aboard because they don't have an issue with the core product. There's no one is saying it doesn't work and that people aren't making money. So the core issue is not there. They're fringe arguments like, I know better, I've been doing this longer, those kinds of things. There's no arguing with that. So they understand that there's nothing wrong with the value prop of the listing software and its core function and what it's doing. It's just they set themselves aside from it. Like, I can operate outside this and do very well for myself, and I don't need it. But they'll eventually come around. Everybody will. Yeah, Biff says, I'd buy 20,000 listings if I could recycle those listings. A lot of people want the recycler, Biff. 100%. There's like a core model change that's going to happen in that case, and it will happen, where we are now pulling information from your account and then putting it back on. So right now we don't pull any information, we simply push information. We will need to start pulling information as well. So that's coming, but right now this Flex rollout, this big rollout has to come out first, and then we got to make sure that everything is up to snuff and working. Bearded Picker says, James, I saw a disturbing Christmas picture in which you had transitioned and paid a lot to a plastic surgeon. He's talking about your thumbnail, James, from the other day. Don says, but I could go through all my items, retake pictures of them, and re-inventory and delete eBay listings before putting it in List Easier. I may do that. It's up to you, Don. It's up to you. I mean, there's enough demand for a recycler, and it actually will work well with cross-listing once we launch those features. So it's ultimately up to you what you want to do. But I believe that it is coming. It's just not being worked on right now because Flex is so important that we get this out there and rocking and rolling. This is something that was ready a few days ago, and now there are just keep things that have to happen to get fixed. These fringe edge cases, I'm sure James found one of them. So we have to keep working on those things before we can get that launched, and then we can start working on the next step. The Flex is going to bring in a ton of people. There are already a lot of people using it. It's going to bring in a lot more because that is how a lot of people operate their business. They go to thrift stores, garage sales, yard sales, all those other things. This is really the model they've been waiting for. So Art by Axe says, that's awesome, Josh. Can't wait to jump back in when Flex comes. You're welcome, Art. Thank you for the question. And definitely everyone, don't let me just run out here talking. Challenge me if you have questions, ask them. I'm more than happy to answer them. And that's one of the reasons why I want to do this live again tomorrow, is that if there are people at home and they're still working and they run into something, just ask me the questions and I'll do my best to answer it. And if I can't answer it, I'll send you an email when I talk to the technical team. Lou Coins, Charlie Goki, Merry Christmas to you and welcome. Let's go. James says, classic phase, silver hair stacker, howdy. Taking a break from funeral planning. My condolences, Todd. I'm sorry about that. My grandmother passed away a few days ago as well. So my parents have gone to Holland for funeral preparation and everything else. And my hat is off, or to you. My condolences to you and your family. It's a horrible time of year to have something like this happen. It's a horrible time any time it happens. Art by X says, I got to say that I use the competition for their one-off AI listings and cross-listing at the same time, all in one package. So I am definitely eager for Flex. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Jovial Juggler says, wishing everyone a holiday season filled with warmth, kindness, and time with those who matter the most. Tell the ones you love just how much, as tomorrow is never promised. Mary, Mary. Exactly, 100%. You never know. Anything can happen. I think Primo Chemo posted that a YouTuber that he's been watching forever and was a big inspiration to him just was found dead. Nobody knows why. And anything can happen. So I will say this. I've felt this way for a long time, but I wake up every morning thankful, even if it's a really bad day. I am genuinely thankful for the day and grateful for it. And I go to bed thankful and grateful. And I feel like when people pass away in my life, or people that I know and they pass away, it is serving as a warning to me that this is going to happen to you too. And this sounds somber, but I think if you spin it to being grateful, it's a somber message that this will also happen to you someday. So carpe diem, live your life to the fullest. I'm not going to be here forever. And I am grateful for every single day. Every single day I'm very grateful to have. I want to keep going forever. So I'm very thankful. Biff Mild-Eyed Melancholy says, let me have a sip of this first, Biff. Biff says, for items above a certain dollar value, I will still probably use my own prompts and create bespoke listings. There are certain attributes I want for certain items. So I agree with you. So for me, there are a few photographers in the photos that I used to list where the most important thing was the photographer. But the AI had no way of identifying who took the photo. I knew because I knew who was where in 1859, let's say. I knew who was taking the pictures of that area in 1859. So I know who the photographer is. So in those cases where the photographer was like a big difference, which would be maybe $1,000 or $2,000 for that photo, then yeah, I was building those myself. Or you know what I'd even do, Biff? I'd let List Easier build it and I would just ensure that was in the details. Because even those items, I know they're going to get better reach if I just let List Easier do it. But there were certain things that I needed in the title. There are certain photographers, for example, that it's really important that they're identified because there are entire institutes just looking for photos by those photographers. So there would be no way for the AI to know it's a one-of-a-kind picture. I only know because I know who was there at that period of time doing that work. Like there was no other photographer there in 1859. That person was the only one. Heather 5410 says, hi Josh, I finally got into List Easier. Nice. Operator error on my part. Okay. Does List Easier or not like photo room photos? I keep getting an error when trying to upload those. Thank you and Merry Christmas. I don't think we've had any issues with photo room. Dave would know. I want to say PNG, JPG, Hayek all work. If they're BMP files, maybe not. I don't know, but I know Primo Chemo uses Photo Room. I don't think it should be an issue, but I would say for that one, Heather, send me an email with a screenshot, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible with it. But also, if you could show me the file format. Yeah, and Biff saying below a certain dollar value, I don't want the friction of bespoke listings. Basically, if it's the longer you touch an item of lower value, the more it costs. So you just want to get those things up, and I totally understand that. Wesley Mode says, Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas to you, Wesley. Welcome, welcome. Don Flippin says, I'm just impatient and it would help me redo my inventory so I'm not looking for hours. I get it, Don. I get it. I started impatient and now I've learned to trust the technical founders that they are operating in everyone's best interest. So, when they need to do something, I just like, okay, well, that needs to get done. It has to happen. So, but it's coming. Things are coming. Great things are coming. We're new. Like, we're only 5 months old and we are leading the pack. Like, we're in frontier technology. We are the snowplow pushing through the snow, doing things that I don't think have ever been done before, or I know they haven't been done before. So it takes a little bit more time because when you do something for the first time, you don't know what's going to happen. We worked on, or the technical guys worked on a rollout. I believe they worked on it for a month straight. They had to roll it back. So that was a month of time working. Super happy, super proud, rolled it out, tried it, had to roll it back immediately because there were just too many problems. Like, boo, but that's how it goes when you're doing things no one's ever done before. So we're getting there, Don. Be patient. We're getting there. Heather says, I mainly list books and List Easier does a great job on the book itself, but blurred the inside pages. So yeah, the List Easier shouldn't be blurring the pages. That might be photo related. Photo related. Art by Access, will you integrate with Facebook Marketplace local pickup into your cross-listing feature? So that's a little ways down the line, Art. I don't want to definitively say yes or no to what's going on with that. That definitely has to do with the APIs with each of those marketplaces. So eBay has a very robust API. They encourage development, third-party development, third-party enhancements, and then they give us API access so that we can integrate our tools. And they're more than happy to do that as long as we follow their rules and regulations, compliance and safety at the production scale, and we pass their audits, which we do. I can't speak to what it looks like for Facebook Marketplace as far as API integrations are concerned, or any of the other listing platforms, because we haven't got there yet. But ideally, if it were a simple process, we would just say, yes, make it available to everyone. If there is no API integration with Facebook, it would be hard to do. So that's a good question for technical founders, and we could probably answer that better once we start approaching those integrations down the line. It would be hard to answer that right now, though. Jen says, you do exude an attitude of gratefulness. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate you for that. It is a blessing, and I see it. I saw the cat, like we have this cat, we let it out because if you don't let it out, it just cries at the door all the time. It will cry for 12 hours at a time if it doesn't go out. It's been like that ever since it was a teeny tiny kitten, and we kept it in for a long time and it just wouldn't stop. So we finally just let it out. We're like, whatever happens, happens. You clearly want to be outside. I'm not going to ruin your life being stuck inside. Well, it killed a mouse. And I thought again to myself with that mouse is life is not guaranteed, and it's hard for every creature on the planet. Every living thing on the planet, it's difficult for. That mouse is just doing its business, going about its business, and the cat got it, and that was it. It's over. It's done with. So life is difficult. So you do have to be grateful for every single day. And as humans, we are in this kind of weird thing where we understand our own mortality. I think most living things on the planet don't even understand that they can die at some point. It just happens. We know it's going to happen. And because of that, we know that this clock is ticking. We don't know when it ends. I want to live to the fullest. I don't want to do things that are going to shorten my life, like drugs or alcohol or take crazy risks. I want to be here for it. Like there's so much awesome here. So that's my thought. That's how I approach it. Beard Picker uses photo room, no issues. Yeah, I think there are a lot of people that use photo room for the photos, but it may depend on what file format you're spitting out on the other side, I think. Andy Reno wants to see an optional drop-down box for promoted listings on eBay. Andy, are you not running promoted listings? The way I run my promoted listings, it catches every single listing that I put up. I'm sure they could work on that feature. Let's put a pin in that one and circle back on it. Let's get this Flex launch. Like this has got to come out now. We have 2 countries waiting for Flex to come out, like waiting. We have sellers in those countries that are like, my business desperately needs this right now. So let's get Flex out, Australia, UK. That's already here. It's ready to go. And then we'll put a pin in the feature launches and we'll take a look and see what we can do. Kenneth says, I had uploads completed, but says ready 12/21. I had uploads completed, but says ready 12. Kenneth, can you explain that a little bit? I don't know what you mean by that. Biff says, in those instances where you know more than AI wouldn't, you want that info in the description and the item specifics as well, not just the title? Yes. So I do in those cases, Biff, you are correct. I will go into the description and include it, and I will also include it in the item specifics. The hard thing for AI to do is, like, when you show something to AI, it's got to have context. The AI can only take context from the photo. So the best way I can explain it is if I show it this hat and I say like this, what is this hat? It will say it's a white trucker hat, blah, blah, blah. From my vantage point, I can see that it says list easier on the other side, but I don't give it to that context to the AI. That's the similar thing with my photos. So from my vantage point, there are things that I know that I'm not presenting to the AI. I learned that if I took a little piece of paper and I put photographer Edward Muybridge, for example, then it would pick it up and then everything would be fine. So I could do it that way as well. But yeah, definitely if you have information and context that the AI doesn't have, and you want that included, totally beneficial. You'd want that in the description as well, and you'd want that in the item specifics. 100%. And the title, of course. 100%. This is why I say, and this is to expand on what Biff is saying, it is important that we become professional photographers because all the information, all the context is in the photos that we give the AI. So the photos, of course, will sell the item, but if the photos are not quality, as in they're not showing the whole product, if there's a model number, take a picture of the model number, help it out, do all these sorts of things. If it's a European model and it's got a European plug, take a picture of the plug so the AI knows that it's the European model. All these different things. If you give it a limited amount of information, like you just say, if there's something important on the other side of this yellow piece of paper, but you only show it this side, it's not going to have the context. It's just not going to have the context and won't be able to do it. So you got to give it as much context as possible. So in my case, if I know something about the photographer, I'm going to give the context to the AI so that it can do the work for me. So that is a good point, Biff, and you are correct. David Varner says, I use Photoscape. No problems there either. You can't simply rely on AI alone. You have to check and fill in the info you think should be there, at least in the description. Yeah, if there is something that the AI cannot have context of, so for example, if you got a bunch of baseball cards from Michael Jordan, he gave them to you, and you have pictures of you getting these cards from Michael Jordan, and then you put those cards into List Easier, you take the photos and put it into List Easier, and you're like, hey, I got these from Michael Jordan, and List Easier didn't say that I got them from Michael Jordan. Well, how would List Easier know? It's impossible for it to know. So any context that you need to give it that isn't immediate from what you're showing it, definitely include it. Or write a little note and it will pick it up usually. Chris Rose says, what's up, Josh? Chris from Phantom Comics here. Welcome, Chris. Good to see you. Another strong user right there, Chris. Merry Christmas to you and your family. I hope your business is going well. Jovial Juggler says, agree, Josh. When someone very close passes, life's perspective changes, creating a greater sense of appreciation. 100%. 100%. 100%. And I think another thing, Jovial, that I think about a lot and I'm very grateful for is I have had friends who've passed away younger. I feel like a lot of my life I didn't find myself in many ways. You know, I did well and I did things that I wanted to do in my life, but I didn't really get a sense of who I was until my late 30s. So it's very sad when people die young because and many of you know this, like I'm preaching to the choir, but when people die young, they never got that opportunity to truly know themselves and find that kind of locked in understanding of themselves that I think only comes with age. So I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to be healthy and live and just do the things that I want to do. Biff says I run promoted listings in bulk by price and or the time listed. I believe this is the way. Yeah, I don't really have any opinion on the best way to operate within the promoted listing system. For me, everything just gets promoted right away. I just don't care. That's the thing with me. I don't want to touch it too much. And this was for my own business, and I think List Easier is going to run this way too, but I had a set percentage. I put it on dynamic. The set percentage was my cap, and every listing just went into promoted listings, and I assume I'm going to pay that much. And of course, with the dynamic cap at what it was, almost every listing I was paying the promoted at about the cap. So I just was like, okay, that's just money out the door. I'm kicking that upstairs to the mafia boss, basically. And that's how it is. And, you know, it's pay to play, and that's, I understand, and that's what it is. So every listing got promoted, and I just pushed it through. And the results, based on what I was paying them versus what I was getting back, the door swung in my favor. So I was okay with it. They're making more money. I'm making more money. It is what it is was my opinion. Lead Belt Emporium says, have you considered allowing some text input in addition to photos for AI listing generation like Google Lens allows? Yeah, so I know some people write stuff down with the photos. So I know there are people who will put, for items that don't have context, they will write down on a piece of paper from the Michael Jordan collection and then delete that photo once a listing is generated. And that will give it all the context it needs to build a properly optimized listing. So a lot of people do that. As far as contextual context, for us, that context, what you're talking about, that Google Lens allows, that context exists for us in the listing template that you build. So that's why we say, give it whatever you can. So if you're listing DVDs, for example, where it says format, click in DVD if they're all going to be DVDs. Then the AI already knows, I mean, it does a pretty good job otherwise, but now it knows that this is a DVD, not a postcard, not a poster, not a this, not a that. It has context. If you take pictures, you know, set up a ruler for one picture and put that item against the ruler, or take all your pictures with the items against a ruler. That gives it context for size. So then it already knows, oh, it's got to be this size. It already knows what it is. So all those things help with context in the listing template. So anything that's broadly the same over and over and over again, if you're selling baseball hats and it's like, what is it basically? And you just click baseball hats. If it's going to be baseball hats for all of them, click it. And that will give it enough context so that it knows every single time what it is. Eric Bressi sold 2 magazines for $50 with List Easier just now. Woohoo. You're going to keep getting those sales, Eric, right through Christmas break. So if you can take the time, take a few days because the sales won't stop. I believe they will not stop. And it's only going to get better. The company's only 5 months old. I think that our CTO has been working on these optimizations and integrations now since, I want to say, February or January of this year. So almost 10 or 11 months of like long 10-hour days just grinding away at building this. I think that you're going to see some incredible things launching over 2026. Incredible things. And I think it will be good for everyone's business. That's why I say we're doing it ourselves. So we're using our own software to build these businesses. We just purchased $5 million worth of listed inventory, and it's all going to go up using our own software. If we didn't believe it, we wouldn't be doing this. I think this is going to be controversial. I'll end it with this. But I think anyone who's building software and is telling others that they should use that software should probably use it themselves. So for us, our livelihoods depend on List Easier because we know also that your livelihoods depend on List Easier. So we're doing what we say and we're saying what we do. Upgrader 99, welcome. Good to see you. Upgrader, I never understood is that a cheese on a dog's face? An American cheese slice? I never could zoom in enough to see what your photo was, but you've had that photo for 15, 16, 17 years. I just discovered Whatnot. I feel so out of the loop. Are you on there, Josh? No, I'm not on Whatnot. Not because I don't like it or I don't believe in it, but we want to build systems to scale. And I don't want to be doing these live broadcasts 10 hours a day because it's a grind. I mean, I could probably do it for a little while, but I don't think I could do it for an extended period of time. So maybe, if at some point down the line we hire someone that is really outgoing and wants to be on camera and do all these things, then we might use Whatnot. I'm not going to say we're never going to use it, but for me right now, it's not the direction we're going. I don't think I have the time. Cheese on a cat. There you go. Cheese on a cat. Lag says hello. Lag, you came like a blister right at the end. Okay, everyone. Thank you all for joining me today. I appreciate you all. I'm super pumped for 2026. I'll probably do a live broadcast tomorrow, but it's going to be super easy going. I'll get some glue vine or something, and I'm just going to sit here and just say hi. And if you're here, you're here. If not, if you're not. If you have any List Easier questions, shoot them in the chat. If you have any questions about eBay or any of that stuff, send it. I'm happy to do it. And if you're not going to be here tomorrow, Merry Christmas. Please be safe on the roads. Please take time to spend time with your families and enjoy their company and do the things that make memories. Go out and see Christmas lights. Bake cookies with your friends, your loved ones, your spouse, whatever the case may be. Take the time, enjoy it, because 2026, we need you rested and ready to rock and roll. It's going to be a big year for all of us. So Merry Christmas, everyone. And we'll see you tomorrow. If not, we'll see you after Christmas. Take care.